Yes, students, we are talking about current electricity in continuation. Of course, we are going to discuss about the Wheatstone Bridge principle in detail today with you. Wheatstone Bridge, which is a bridge-like structure you people can see. We are having four resistance wires here, P, Q, R and S. All four resistance wires, they are joined in this form of a bridge as it is shown in the diagram. And these opposite terminals A and C, they are connected with the source can be a battery eliminator. It should be a DC source. It can be a cell, it can be a Lagrange cell, or it can be taken from a regulated source, that is battery eliminator, which is converting AC into DC. So it should be a DC source, that is why the symbol of DC is there. Here you can see in this arm BD, we are going to connect a galvanometer. Galvanometer is also having some resistance, and we are supposing capital G is the resistance of the galvanometer. Now what it is, this was given by Wheatstone scientist only, and he said that if I am having four resistances connected in this way in the form of bridge, and we are assuming that this your cell, it is having no internal resistance, then he made a principle and he said that there is no current is flowing through this galvanometer, then these four resistances, they are in ratio with each other, like P upon Q, it is equals to R upon S. This is Wheatstone bridge principle, which is stating if four resistances P, Q, R and S are arranged to form a bridge with a cell E and a one way which is kept between A and C, and of course BD, which is known as the galvanometer arm. Galvanometer is connected across B and D terminals such that no current flows through the galvanometer. Then only we say P upon Q, it is equals to R upon S. Now here you can see if I cross multiply this equation, I will be getting P upon R equals to Q upon S. So that also can be written. There will be no mathematical issue over there, but when we are stating the law, we are saying P upon Q here on the upper side of the AC. Ratio is same as the below side of AC. This is your Wheatstone bridge principle. And of course, I think you all are aware that galvanometer is a device which is used to find the feeble currents. Small amounts of current, it means even if very small amount of current flows through the galvanometer, it will get detected by this. Even if a small current is flowing through this arm BD, the galvanometer will show the deflection, and it's like either on the left side or on the right side. So even if I do change the terminals of this battery, again it will not affect my experiment as far as the experiment is concerned. So I think Wheatstone bridge principle is clear with you. Wheatstone bridge principle I can prove with the help of Kirchhoff laws. Both the laws of Kirchhoff are being studied by you all, so you can prove it yourself also. Even that first law is the junction law, junction rule we say. Kirchhoff current law also we say, that is that current at each junction either entering or leaving has to be equal, or sum of the currents will be equals to 0. This is we have studied. So using that junction rule, if I am saying that I current is flowing coming out of the cell, then I current is getting divided here into two parts here because two arms are there. So if I am saying that let through P the current which is passing through the P resistance wire, that is equals to I1, and through this arm AD through R resistance wire, then of course the rest of the current has to go on this side. So total current is I1 is flowing in this arm, so in this arm it will be I minus I1. Similarly, if I move ahead at this junction, B junction, I am coming, I1 current is coming to this junction, and I am supposing IG is the current which is flowing through the galvanometer, then I can show IG in this arm, then rest of the current, it means I1 minus IG will go in the arm BC. Similarly, here if you see at D junction, then I minus I1 is coming and IG is also coming, entering into this. So all these will get added for this arm DC, which is coming out to be I minus I1 plus IG. And of course, you can verify at C junction. If you add this and this value, you are again left with current I. It means how much current is entering the circuit, the same current is leaving the junction C. Whatever current is entering the junction A is leaving the junction C. That is by the Kirchhoff first rule, that is your junction. Now, if you are applying the loop rule, then I am having two loops with me. One is A, B, D, A. Then here if I am writing the equation, this is I1P, of course, negative sign, because I am moving in the clockwise direction. And here if you say, this is again minus IG into G. G is the value of the resistance. And here it will be plus I minus I1 into R. That is equals to 0 for this loop. Similarly, you can write the equation for the second loop, that is B, C, D, B. This loop if you take, then on the same lines you can write the equation, that is I1 minus IG, of course, with negative sign into Q, and this is with plus sign you are getting I minus I1 plus IG into S plus this IG into G, that is equals to 0. Now what Wheatstone said, that if Ig is equals to 0, it means no current is passing through this galvanometer arm BD, then this you can put the value of Ig 0 in both these equations, and then if you divide this first equation and second equation, then you will be getting P upon Q, it is equals to R upon S, because this G will get 0 multiplied with Ig. Here also the terms of Ig, wherever Ig is involved, that term will become equals to 0 because Ig is 0, and this is simple mathematics. You can find that P upon Q, it is equals to R upon S. Now this is your Wheatstone bridge principle. Proof can be asked by using Kirchhoff law. Prove Wheatstone bridge principle. You all should be able to prove it. And of course, it has found applications like we can ask you numericals by changing the values of the resistances and so. This is when you see in the lab, this is the experimental form of the Wheatstone bridge. Now you have to understand, this is here where I am moving the pointer here with the scale 1 meter long resistance wire is attached. That means constator or manganese is attached here 1 meter long. And because it is 1 meter long, that and the 4 resistances we will be connecting in the form of bridge. So that is why we are calling it meter bridge. Why the name meter bridge? Even we call it slide wire bridge also, because when we do the experiment, we make this jockey to slide over the resistance wire, and that is, of course, these are the questions which are asked in your Viva. Then it is termed as slide wire bridge also, because jockey is slided over the wire. But of course, you have to take care that this wire which we take should be of uniform area of cross section, and when you are moving the jockey over this wire, that should not be rubbed against the wire, because otherwise area of cross section will get changed and your result will be different. Now this is one terminal, these two terminals, and along this you will be joining your your resistance box, and here you will be joining your unknown resistance wire, and in the center also there is a terminal from where we connect the galvanometer, and with that the jockey is connected, and then only we move. And then what we are doing, we are simply dividing this resistance wire into two parts, one of length L, another of length 100 minus L. So that length multiplied, when we are knowing the resistance per unit length, it means I know the resistance for the given length. So this length of the wire is also giving you the resistance. So I am having 4 resistances, one here, second here, third for the given length L, and fourth is for the given length 100 minus L. Now what are the questions asked in Viva? Here you can see we are having thick copper strips are used on both the sides. With the help of terminals, we use both the thick copper strips, and this either I join the wire here for the battery eliminator, or I join here, meaning is the same. So this is just to give, this is made in a way that it is producing the less resistance. So just to reduce the end errors, we are using these thick copper strips here, you can see. And of course length, when we are taking 1 meter, that is of uniform area. These all things you have to note in the construction of the meter bridge, how it is made when we are using it in the lab. Now when you do the experimental setup, as all of you have observed, here I am putting unknown resistance. It means unknown resistance wire. Here it is yours 1 meter long resistance wire on which we will be moving the jockey. In the central point we are connecting the galvanometer, and from galvanometer other terminal is coming to jockey. Jockey is simply a conductor which is to be moved over this resistance wire to divide it into two parts. And one resistance should be known resistance, which I will be taking out from this resistance box. In the resistance box, it is like one-way key we are having so many keys over here, and the value of the resistances are written along with that. So if I take out one key, it means that much resistance. Like if I take for 2 ohm, so it means I am introducing 2 ohm resistance here. If I take out 3 ohm, it means I am introducing 3 ohm resistance here. So then I will move the jockey for different value of the resistances in the resistance wire for taking my observations, and I can find this unknown resistance by using the formula that this, if I am saying P, this if I am saying Q, whatever names you may give, P and Q, then it will be equals to R upon S. So naming will be yours, and then whatever value is here, that is proportionate to this L. So you have to take care. I have to write this, if I am calling it unknown resistance X upon L, that is equals to known resistance capital R divided by 100 minus L. So X upon L equals to R upon 100 minus L. If I change the position of the resistance box, in place of right side, if I put it on the left side, then my formula will also get changed accordingly. So you have to be very careful when you take the observation or when you solve different questions. This where you are putting the resistance box, where you are putting the unknown resistance, from where you are finding the length L, zero end, from the left side or from the right side. That will make difference in your formula. So you have to be really very clear about these things. These are the applications where we are using meter bridge. We can of course find the unknown resistance and resistivity, as you have observed for the given resistance wire. We can even verify the laws of series and parallel combination. Law of series combination means x equals to x1 plus x2. Parallel combination means 1 upon x equals to 1 upon x1 plus 1 upon x2. If I am taking two resistances, two unknown resistances, to find the temperature coefficient of the resistance of the given resistance wire, because we have done with the formula RT equals to yours R naught plus into 1 plus alpha delta T. So alpha is the temperature coefficient of resistance. So RT equals to R naught into 1 plus alpha delta T. This is the formula with you, and you can take the values. You can find the temperature coefficient by putting the resistance wire at the different temperatures. That can be taken as the project work, not mentioned in your syllabus especially. Now this first application with you, which is very much mentioned in your syllabus theory paper also, it can be asked, that is to find the unknown resistance of the given resistance wire. Of course, we have discussed meter bridge. It is working on the Wheatstone bridge principle only, and we have to make this galvanometer deflection equals to 0. Now if I am putting R here and X here, X is unknown resistance, then R upon X is equals to L upon 100 minus L. Into alpha I have taken resistance per unit length, because when I am comparing the resistance, one resistance with the second resistance only I can compare. So here it should be having the resistance, L is the length. So to write it in terms of resistance, I have to multiply it with the resistance per unit length of this given wire. So that is why I have written it as L alpha divided by 100 minus L into alpha. Here whatever symbol you may use, if you are not happy with alpha, you can use beta or anything you can use, rho you can use. So you can use any symbol, but you have to mention it. So because when I am comparing the resistances, P upon Q equals to R upon S. So these has to be resistances. So I have written the length multiplied by the resistance per unit. So you are getting it L alpha divided by 100 minus L into alpha. So alpha and alpha will get cancelled, and you are coming with the formula for the unknown resistance X. It is equals to R into 100 minus L upon L. Now here, if you wish, you may note, if I put X on the left hand side and R on the right hand side, and L I take from the left side only, then the formula will be interchanged. It means X will be equals to R into L divided by 100 minus L. So you have to take care which side you are putting the unknown resistance and from which side you are taking the balancing length. This length L, where the galvanometer is showing no deflection, that is known as the balancing length, and this position where it shows no deflection, that is known as null point. You should be aware of all these terms, because in practicals and viva these terms will be asked from you. Of course, if you want to find the specific resistance, because you have done with this formula that resistance, unknown resistance here X, because I am denoting, that is equals to rho L upon A. Here L is the length of this resistance wire X. I will, after doing the experiment, what I will do, I will take out this resistance wire, I will note its length, and I am calling it capital L because small l I have already used in this experiment. So you have to measure the length, and of this wire you will be finding the diameter also by using screw gauge. And of course, if you know the diameter, you can find the radius, and radius will be equals to here's diameter divided by 2. So area can be written as pi d square upon 4, or you can write it simply pi r square. So L is the length, you have to measure in centimeter, and of course when you find using screw gauge diameter you get in millimeter, you will convert it into centimeter, all the things, but the results are to be given in meter, because SI unit you will be always using. So you will be giving the results in meter. For the resistance it is ohm, and into area of cross section divided by length, it means the unit for the resistivity will be ohm meter. So similarly, if you want to find prove the laws of series and parallel combination, then what you will be doing, you will be given two resistances, say one is X1, then another resistance X2 will be given. So you will be repeating this experiment twice, first with X1, then with X2. Then third part you will do, you will join X1 and X2 in series, and you will do it again, means 3 times. When you have to find in parallel value, then you will be connecting X1 and X2 in parallel, and you will be taking another set. It means 4 sets of observation you will be taking, one for X1, then for X2, then X1 and X2 in series, and then X1 and X2 in parallel. And then you will find the values experimentally, you will find the values theoretically, and you will check whether you are getting the same results or you are not getting the same results. So that is to be verified whenever we do the law verification for series and parallel combination. So basic procedure will remain the same, but only the thing is you have to repeat this experiment 4 times by taking different values of the unknown resistances. One X1, then X2, then X1 and X2 in series, then X1 and X2 in parallel. And then you will be doing, and that is only you will be doing experimentally, and then you can verify the things, that is laws of series and parallel combination. So what points are there to note? Of course, you should be knowing that thick metallic copper strips we are using on the ends simply to reduce the resistance to increase the flow of current. We are getting different, using different values of R, then we will be getting different values of X, and I will be finding the mean value of the unknown resistance. And of course, this is very important precaution, that your balancing length should be in the middle of the wire, 20 to 80 centimeter, but it is more sensitive when it is at 50 centimeter. It means both resistances are in the ratio with each other. These are the limitations of the meter bridge. Of course, it is not useful for measuring very small or very high resistances. So for moderate value it is applicable, and it works with the low values of DC. Direct current, when we use in the lab, we give 2 volt, and as in that activity you have seen for Leclanche cell, it gives 1.5 volt DC. So we use nearly 1.5 to 2 volts for making this to work. Either we can use battery eliminator or we can use Leclanche cell for doing this experiment. Of course, it is more sensitive when all the 4 resistances are equal, and when they are equal, of course, you will be getting the balancing length equal to 50 centimeter, or you can say null point at the middle of the wire. This is one numerical with you. If I am saying P is 5 ohm, Q is 6 ohm, R is 10 ohm and S is 5 ohm, the values are given as per the same diagram. They are asking find the additional resistance to be used in series of S. It means what resistance I should use in series with S so that the bridge is balanced. So if I am not using any resistance in series or parallel, then you know P upon Q it is equals to R upon S. And now if I am using some resistance, in place of S I am using S plus X. Say X resistance I am using in series, then in place of S I will be writing S plus X. So S plus X, you can solve the value by cross multiplying. You are getting R into Q upon P. So if you put the values of P, Q, R and S, you are getting the value of X equals to 7 ohm. So simple thing. You should be knowing that whatever we are taking the value, you will be simply replacing the value for series, or similarly there will be the question with parallel combination. This is the question with you. Now they are asking 4 resistances are there, 15 ohm, 12 ohm, 4 ohm and 10 ohm. They are connected in the cyclic order. Now diagram is not given in the question. They are joined in cyclic order. So what I have done, I have drawn this diagram to take it in the cyclic order. So if I am starting from here, A point, 15, I am going clockwise direction, 15 and then 12, then 4 and 10. So I have connected all the 4 resistances in the form of bridge. Is this network balanced? First question is. So for whether this bridge is balanced or not, I have to check P upon Q whether it is coming out equals to R upon S. For the balanced bridge, if I am calling it P, this is Q, this is R, this is S, I know the formula. So it means 15 upon 12 should be equals to 10 upon 4 for the bridge to be balanced, but the values are not coming equal. So it means this bridge is unbalanced. Now they are asking if it is not balanced, then calculate the resistance to be connected in parallel with the resistance of 10 ohm. Here this is the 10 ohm resistance. So what resistance should be connected in parallel to this 10 ohm? So I am supposing let X resistances to be connected. Then in that case, here this value I am calling it P, this is Q, then this is R. So in place of R, I am calling R dash. So I am saying 1 upon R dash has to be equals to 1 upon 10 plus 1 upon X. I can find the value of R dash. And in this formula, if I put the value, then I am getting 15 upon 12. It is equals to 10X divided by 10 plus X divided by 4. So now you can cross multiply the things. You can work out with these things. So when I have done I have solved it for you people. So you can see I am getting the value of X is coming out to be 10 ohm. So when you can again verify, if you put the 10 ohm in parallel, then it will come out to be a balanced bridge. So these type of questions are asked in the exam. You have to be very clear about the things. Basically, you should be knowing this formula for the balanced bridge, that is P upon Q, it is equals to R upon S. This formula should be to you. Similarly, one more question is there. This is theoretical question that Two known resistances R and S are connected in left and right gap of the meter bridge. So I have connected this on the left side, this on the right side. So what it is, the balance point is found at a distance L1 from the zero end. If I am calling this as the zero end, this is L1. So of course this will be 100 minus L, next length. An unknown resistance X is now connected in parallel. Now I am connecting X in parallel with the S, and balance point is now found at a distance L2. Some other distance L2 has to be taken. From the zero end, you have to obtain a formula for X in terms of L1, L2 and S. So what is, of course, if you know, using balanced Wheatstone bridge, if I am getting the balance point here, null point here, then this length is length L1 and 100 minus L1 are in ratio with R and S. By balanced Wheatstone bridge, I can write this equation. For the second case, if you take, I am connecting X in parallel, so I can find the effective resistance for the parallel combination, that is S dash. It is coming out to be XS divided by S plus X. Now if you put the value in place of S, I am putting this S dash, and now these two equations are there. If you divide both these equations, then you are getting the relation for X in terms of S, L1 and L2. This is simple mathematics. You are supposed to work it out yourself to get the result. So these type of questions, of course, we can do more questions, and you can practice even at your. Thank you.